Hi, I'm Kim Hayek with Mission Loans, and we are here for story time with Pam.
Hi, I'm Pamela Maloney with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Colorado Real Estate. Kim, thanks for being here today.
Absolutely. So today our story is about rates schmates. Um, with that being said, Pam, tell us a story about how the market is.
Thanks, Kim. Yeah, that's a very common question that we get as agents, and I'm sure even as lenders sometimes. And what seems to, no matter how I respond to that question, the second question tends to focus on rates or come back, well, how are rates? And some people actually start with that question first. It seems to be their primary focus. But what I wanted to talk about today is that rates should not be your reason to focus on buying or not buying because they're temporary. And the market can't be painted with such a broad brush as just the rates. So although rates is important because it's one piece of the puzzle that helps you to determine what you can afford when you want to purchase a property, it shouldn't be the only thing that you focus on. So if you have a reason to buy a home or a dream to buy a home, you need to start by talking to a trusted real estate advisor that can walk you through that process, including the discussion of rates, what payment is comfortable for you so that you can develop your own plan to accomplish your goals and dreams.
That is good information. So, what should buyers be considering besides rates?
Yeah. So, I mean, people, that's what they seem to be focused on is the rates. And not too long ago, we had really low, lifetime low rates, and everybody was so excited about them. So they were applying for loans and saying, I want to go shopping. And then they would get in the market and find a really competitive and challenging market. So the conditions were such that many buyers were in the market. Homes were going over asking price, so it was making the prices go up. In order to be chosen in a competitive scenario, you had to often offer over asking price. You had to bring some extra cash to assure the seller that you could, I guess, help with any appraisal problems that would come up since you were overing higher than what the house was offered at, to give them an assurance that you could still close. You had to kind of leave negotiating behind. You would have to either waive your inspection or limit the inspection items. You couldn't be a contingent buyer, meaning you couldn't have a home to sell in order to buy, because then you'd go to the bottom of the pile. They'd pick an easier person to work with. And you have to close quickly, and you didn't have time to think. So homes were going under contract in a couple of days, sometimes even hours. So there wasn't much time to think. You had to be ready to pull the trigger fast. So it's a big decision to buy a house, and it's something that you should, give measured consideration to. And sort of starting out with a plan is the best choice. And so rates shouldn't be the focus as far as being ready or not ready. That's the first step to try and determine what you need to do to buy a home.
I agree with that. And so we do know that interest rates are higher. So even with the interest rates being higher, it sounds like we have a whole new opportunity right now. So tell us a story about that.
Yes. Well, despite the fact that the rates are up, you can almost probably get something very similar, if not the same as what you would have gotten before. So here's an example. Back then, when the rates were lower, you'd have to pay over asking price, $50,000 to $100,000 in some cases. So let's just take this example. Let's say the home was listed at $600,000, and you had an interest rate of, say, 3.5% around a year ago. And in order to get picked, you have to pay over asking price. So let's say you paid 675. We'll just cut that estimate in half there, between 50 and 100K over. So 675 is what you offer at 3.5% interest rate. And so your payment is going to be about 24.25. In today's market, that house that's listed at 600,000 is not going to have multiple offers. You're not going to have to pay over asking price. You're likely going to be able to get it at list price of 600,000. Your rate is a little higher. Let's say it's 6.5 today. So the same loan scenario at a higher interest rate on a house at 600,000 would be $3,034 for your principal and interest payment. So it's about $600 more. And that's if you're paying it at what they're asking. Often in today's market, you can negotiate, which is the thing I talked about before. You can negotiate under asking price. You can also sometimes negotiate seller concessions, which you can use to lower the principal amount of the loan, or to buy down your interest rate. So you can look at that. Again, you talk with your lender and evaluate how you could use those concessions to help manage a payment that's comfortable for you. And then long-term, the economy is kind of struggling right now. We're hearing talk of recession, but if you look at history, whenever we encounter a recession, when the economy is recovering and we're exiting a recession, that's when rates usually take a dip, and that's happened the last 6 recessions. So even if you're buying today and the rates are higher, if you really want it to be lower, just watch the market. And as the rates come down, you could always refinance it to a lower rate for the long term, if that's what you want to do. But you should always just focus on your payment and develop your strategic plan instead of focusing on the rates.
That is an awesome story. I love it. And, the other thing that we know with, being in the business for quite a while is that when the market changes and recessions start to go away, interest rates come down, well, sales prices start to go back up. So there's your other opportunity. Get in now while the prices are lower and take advantage of what's going on. So that's a good, positive story. Thank you for sharing that with us, Pam.
Yeah, you're so right. Because the people that are choosing to sit on the sidelines waiting for for the rate to drop, the conditions of the market that right now are so favorable for buyers will kind of go away. So when the rates come down, it will become more competitive and the prices will go up. So it's really all about perspective and mindset. Is the glass half full or is it half empty? And the people who see the opportunity right now and get in the market while other people are frozen in fear trying to time the market, those are the people who are going to gain in the long run, because they're going to ride the appreciation gain they're going to see over time. And they're also going to be building their equity already. They're starting now as soon as they buy the property. So I told you before, I work with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, and this is Warren Buffett's real estate company. And Warren Buffett is known for a lot of quotes that people take in business. And one of them is that those that see opportunity will be ahead of the game. So they'll be in the market, gaining equity and writing that appreciation over the long term. So this is the opportunity to jump in if you're thinking that you would like to buy a home, if it's something you need to do, or it's a dream that you have in your heart. You need to reach out to me or someone like Kim so that you can begin developing that plan.
Love it. Build wealth through home ownership.
Yes, exactly.
That is wonderful. Well, thank you. And thanks everybody for joining us for Story Time with Pam.
Thank you.